Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Connor, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to NRDNP862 Practice Inquiry and IRB. I just want to share a few thoughts with you in this brief introductory video, and I really hope that everyone watches this. Just going to give you some vital information in a very short, quick amount of time. So, welcome to the course. We will really help you through this process to develop your project proposal. That's the whole key for this. The purpose of this course is for you to develop a scholarly project proposal that you will defend, and that's what we call it. You defend that to faculty, and that will happen late March, early April. You defend your proposal, tell us why you think it's important, and all of the necessary aspects that will be important to your project. And then hopefully you will be approved, and then you move on to actually do your project once you enter residency. So this is a first and really important point, is as you consider your project proposal, you have to consider the time frame, that you cannot begin any part of your project until you gain approval from the faculty, until you actually enter residency. And for some of you, that's immediately following your approval. For some of you, that's the semester following this course. For some of you, it's even another semester later. It's really important for you to understand the time frames, that you cannot begin any part of your project until you gain approval and until you begin residency, because you have to have faculty supervising and guiding you, and you only have that, you gain approval in this course, and then you have faculty who will supervise and guide you in residency. So that's one of the first and most important points for us to make. So again, the purpose for this is you are gaining a Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. So similarly, those who gain a Doctor of Philosophy, a PhD, have to do a dissertation. You don't have to do a dissertation, and that's a good thing, because that's a much lengthier process. What you do have to do is to demonstrate scholarly competency. This is what differentiates you from those students who gain their MSN and decide to opt out of the program and go ahead and graduate with their Masters of Science in Nursing and sit for FNP or ANP, some kind of boards. Being in this course means that you are going on for your Doctor of Nursing Practice. We have to differentiate that because there are practitioners who have a master's, and that's fine. We think someday that will change, but for right now, that's still the case. But having a doctorate means that you had to demonstrate scholarly competency, much like the PhD folks do. So the way you do that, there are a number of ways, and you'll learn all about that, of different ways that you are able to document your scholarly work. However, one of the biggest ways is to develop this practice project. Hopefully it's an evidence-based practice quality improvement project proposal that you will develop in this course. Once that proposal is approved, you actually implement the project once you begin in residency. So we'll walk you through those steps, how those things work. Hopefully you've all gotten this information sort of early on, but again, as you begin this course, it's important for you to understand the time frames. The time frame for this course is, this is a 16-week course. However, you really only have about 11 or 12 weeks. We'll go just beyond spring break that you'll have in March, and then you will be ready to come to campus or present virtually. We'll talk about that. You'll have you'll be in groups. You'll figure out with your faculty member who may want to come to campus, and we'll try to coordinate those of you especially who live out of the area of Charleston. If you have to come for immersions, OSCEs, that sort of thing, that we try to coordinate that. Otherwise, we also try to coordinate virtual presentations. We have really come a long way with being able for you to present online using a platform called WebEx, and we can give you much more information about that. I can tell you personally that being present on campus is always a huge plus. for us, and also I think for you as a presenter. However, we've had very successful presentations from those who live really way out of the state, and it was better for them to not be able, not have to come to campus just to present. What we ask of you when you come to present is that you come for the entire day. So in other words, we will schedule days later in the semester, again, late March, early April, and we will ask you to block out the day. If you're coming to campus, that you come to campus and spend the day with us. Each of you are going to present for basically 20 to 25 minutes and offer a few minutes for questions. It would not make sense to ask you to come to campus for virtually a half an hour of time. Then we have to deliberate, the faculty deliberate to determine if we approve your project. We have found that it works much better if you just plan to spend the whole day with us. If you work with us virtually online through WebEx, we still ask that you spend the whole day. Another advantage of that is that you offer your colleagues support. You support each other, and we've found that to be really beneficial. So just that's a heads up right away. We will talk about the scheduling, but as we begin to talk about scheduling for presentations, please understand that you'll be required to spend an entire day, even though your own presentation will only be around 20 to 30 minutes long. But again, you have to understand then the faculty, we have to hear all these presentations, then we have to deliberate, then we have to discuss with each of you the pros and cons of your presentation. Is there anything you need to revise? And so it's a lengthy process. So just like to make that clear up front. The next thing I want to make clear up front, really this is even more important for you to understand starting out here at the first part of the semester. As you consider your project, there are three things that are really, really important. Three main factors that are important. It's sort of the what are you going to do, where are you going to do it, and how are you going to do it. Let's discuss those very briefly and very quickly here. The what you are going to do is really important. We want that to be something that is important to you, that you feel passionate about, that you have knowledge of. Hopefully it's something you wrote your State of the Science paper on. However, we understand that some of you did not just take that course where you wrote your State of the Science paper. You may have done that a year ago. You may have to have something new. For this course, for your proposal, you do not have to have an entire State of the Science paper. However, you do have to have an evidence review and synthesis section of your proposal, which means that you can tell us what is the best available evidence supporting the potential intervention you want to propose for your project. See, so it's really important that evidence is sound evidence. We've talked about in other courses for you the levels of evidence, systematic reviews, meta-analysis being at the top, randomized controlled trials after that. Then the list sort of goes down, if you recall the pyramid of levels of evidence. So having just a couple of quality improvement projects that have done something that you are really considering is not really great evidence to support what you want to do. You have to find the best available evidence and be able to show that to us, the faculty, to be able to demonstrate and talk about that evidence that's going to support your proposed intervention to improve some type of patient care issue. So let's talk briefly about then, that's sort of what do you want to do, and that's great. Where you're going to do it is so vital because you must, and this is really important, if you don't remember anything else about this very brief video, you must be able to demonstrate that the problem you are identifying, while you may think it's a problem nationwide, globally, while you may be able to offer evidence of that, it must also be a problem in your local site. If you can't tell us briefly why you are proposing this project for the site you are choosing, and that it is in fact a problem there, then you have a problem that we will not be able to approve your project proposal. So in other words, let me give you an example that we've had, say, a student in the past who wanted to focus on falls. Falls are a big deal in any hospital. So their project site, they were going to do it in the site where they're currently working, in this hospital. And they felt like there was a problem with falls still, even though there have been plenty of evidence-based interventions enacted there. So we started down this process, and this was a couple of years ago before we really identified the fact that, gosh, you've got to be able to identify that there is a problem. Student starts down the path, develops this whole evidence-based practice project. That's all wonderful, except that when it becomes the time to have data collection, and one of the keys to this is you have data before and after. That's the whole key. It's pre and post intervention data. You're not doing research, so we don't want you having an intervention group and a control group. We want you to have data before you implement an evidence-based quality improvement project. Then you implement your intervention, and then you gather data, the same data afterwards, to be able to demonstrate that you've made an improvement. See, so this student started down this path, had a great idea for implementing a new evidence-based process for reducing falls and for preventing falls in their organization, except that when she got the preliminary data, the data prior to implementing her project, they had had one fall in virtually a year. That's a problem in the fact that there wasn't a problem. One fall, just because this person found, this student found some evidence that she thought was good evidence to implement. The fact is there was not enough data to show that there was a problem before she implemented something, and there was no way to show really great improvement because there wasn't a problem. So we really hope that you get that point very early on here. It's vital for you to make sure you understand the fact that you have to be able to demonstrate a problem in the local site where you plan to do your project. And that's really key, because some of you come into this course and you may not be sure where you're doing the project. You can have an idea for a project proposal, but it's not going to work. It's not going to be approved if you don't know where you're going to do it. If you have support in that site from the administration there, the physicians that may be running the practice, whoever it may be, people who are in charge, it's vital for you to have permission, to have support. Those things are key to helping you develop a project proposal and then actually being able to implement that. So these are really key things that we're going to tackle really early on, and you must understand that you have to have a site. Where am I going to do this? And are they going to be open to the idea that I want to develop a project that will improve patient care in some way? And do I have support? And am I able to demonstrate that there's a problem in that site before anything else happens? So those are really key factors for you to think about very quickly in the first couple of weeks of this course. Once you sort of figure that out, you decide what you're going to do and hopefully where you're going to do it. Then you have to think about the timeline and when, because what happens sometimes is you have a great idea for a project, you have support from the people in your site that you want to do it, except that they want to get it done now, and you can't get it done immediately. As you start talking about it, it takes months because you have to go through this course, you gain approval from the faculty, and then you still can't begin anything until you begin residency. So again, the most important points: what do you want to do? Where are you going to do it? And when are you going to do it? You have to think about those three factors, and you have to combine them in a way that you understand that you're going to be able to identify a problem, and you're going to be able to demonstrate that it is a problem in the site where you want to do this, and you're going to be able to discuss and talk about the fact that your timeline, when you will do this, will work out with what the organization wants. So those are really key factors. This is really just an introduction. We have much more to discuss, obviously, as we get into the whole course, but it's really vital for you to see this first video, for me to welcome you, and just to understand that you have really three things to consider very, very quickly. And I know you have other courses along with this course, but this is vital. You can't let this slide. You must address these issues in the first 2 weeks. What are you going to do? Roughly, some idea? Where are you going to do it? Do you have support? Do you know that it's a problem in that site? And when will you be able to do this? Let's talk about those things. So I hope this is helpful for you to get started. We look forward to working with you this semester, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks very much.